So, how many times a day do you think about checking out? And by checking out, I mean like dropping out of the life race or sewer slide, or I can't think of any other names. I don't think I can actually say it without YouTube doing something about it. I don't know if that's a thing for smaller channels like me, but regardless, how many times a day? Maybe I'm phrasing the question wrong. How many times a week? Month? Year? I think a lot of us have this question or these thoughts a lot more than we would like to believe. Like, you never think, like, old Jimmy working next to you is like thinking about ending it all. But I'm just curious, how many times? Because from a personal experience, I feel like even just once kind of isn't great. um, but then again, we always talk about people having these thoughts. Like, I was watching videos for the past couple days, and people will say, well, things will pass, or whatever you're going through in life is temporary, and you're gonna get through it. And whatever bad things happen, like it's a state of mind. And that's all very true. This isn't a video trying to convince you to drop out of the race, okay? This video is kind of different from those in the way of, what if you have those thoughts and whatever answer you gave, whether it's consistent, non consistent, what if nothing's happening? What if there is no state of mind or thing to get through? What if you just have that thought? Now, I don't want to say jump to the conclusion that there's immediately something wrong with us, but I do feel like this isn't talked about as much. Like, whenever people talk about this subject, it's usually like, you're going through this thing, or we know life is hard for you. And for some people, life is genuinely that difficult where that does seem like a legitimate decision to make. But it feels as though this isn't talked as much. It's like, you know that meme where it's like, my steak is too buttery, my lobster too juicy. Like, it feels as though life is going great, but for some reason, even though maybe before you were in a poor situation, or maybe you've never been in a poor situation, but for some reason, these thoughts just don't go away. This emotional state just doesn't go away. And it's not talked about as much because it's like people complaining that they have too much money. You know, like, everything's going okay for you. You should be fine. And I'm not saying that's my point of view. I'm saying that's probably how society as a whole views it, which is probably why we don't talk about it as much as we probably should. Now, of course, even if there isn't something like generally going on in your life right now that you might find is something warranting these thoughts, there's always something that could be the explanation. I always like to say that feelings aren't random, they could be irrational, but there's always a reason why you're feeling something. It could be poor sleep, it could be high stress levels, it could be burnout, it could be a number of things. And I'm not here to tell you what it is or how to fix it. I've realized with a lot of my past videos that I make a lot of claims, and I come to a lot of conclusions that I probably shouldn't be coming to. I'm making observations just like you're making observations. All this whole video is just an observation of mine. I'll give you an anecdote of mine. So far, if you've watched previous videos of mine, thank you if you have. That's so cool. Did you notice I cut my hair? Yeah. I've in the past complained about loneliness. I've in the past complained about, well, I think loneliness is like the biggest complaint. And complained about feeling overall down. And I think now, with time passing, for the most part, those issues have been resolved. I'm gonna sound like I'm flexing here, but I'm not. I'm just trying to prove a point. My relationships are decent. I do have a significant other. My family's okay. Everyone's healthy. I'm not financially struggling with anything. Like, I feel like I'm very fortunate to be in the position that I'm in. And of course, everyone has their problems, and there's these roadblocks, and there's always something that comes up. But for the most part, everything is okay. So why doesn't the feeling go away? And it could be just that you feel bad in the moment, or it could be that you relive for some reason something that's happened to you in the past. I can't explain it to you why that happens, but it does, and I feel like we don't talk about it as much as we should. And it makes it so you feel as though you're going insane because your thought process is irrational, and you know that, like, there's a quote by Dr. K. I'm not sure if I'm quoting him exactly, but he says that some people that have this idealization, this sewer slide idealization, have it because their life is genuinely that bad. Like, genuinely, that is a viable option for them. But for us, or for people that might be relating to me in this video, that's not really a viable option for us. I'll give you another example. I was reading a book, How to Die by Seneca. I think it's a collection of some of Seneca's writings, like paraphrased, that makes it easy to understand. That's what the book was. And there was this one quote that caught my attention, and it pertains to this subject. It says, "It's weak. It's a weak and idle man who dies on the count of pain, but it's a fool who lives for pain's sake." But I like that quote because how do you know which one you are? Like, for example, it's a weak and idle man who dies for the sake of pain, right? So if if all it is emotional pain, and nothing's actually really happening in my life to warrant me even thinking about that as an option, then it would be extremely irrational, which it is. It's extremely irrational to harm the other people in my life and myself in that way and rob myself of future experiences by making that decision. It is. That's very true. But on the flip side of that argument, what was the other half of the quote? Sorry. I have very poor memory. But it's a fool who lives for pain's sake. If you have everything, and you should be okay. It should be okay. And I'm not saying that to be hyperbolic. I've talked to professionals and they've told me, yeah, no, it should be okay. then then you're just living and you're in pain constantly. Even if everything's sunshine and rainbows, you're living for pain's sake because you know that no matter how good it really gets, you're still going to be suffering somehow, and you have no idea how. Now, I'm not making an argument for doing anything drastic. Obviously not. Talk to a professional, seek help, and always there's people that want you here. I swear to you, there's people that want you here. A very good coping mechanism that's helped me lately is I would think of a situation, and the thoughts set in about being harsh on yourself and immediately persecuting yourself, and you flip that mindset a little bit and you ask yourself how your loved one would think of you in this situation. If you explain it to a loved one, what would they say? How would they feel about you knowing the situation? And usually, because my support system is pretty strong, and hopefully if you relate to me in this struggle, then your support system is also pretty strong, then you can usually think like, well, this person would think I'm still a good person and think I'm still okay. So I should think that about myself. That's been helping a little bit. But all this to say, I'm just making it known, putting it out there, just making a video talking about it because no one talks about it. No one talks about everything being fine, but you still feeling this dread and hopelessness for no reason. And I know it sounds very harsh to say, well, like, for no reason, but that's what we tell ourselves. Because it's true, there is no reason. But that doesn't make your feelings invalid. That's what this whole video is about. I just wanted to get my thoughts out there about that. Yeah, I just wanted to make an observation. This whole video is an observation. Again, never take what I say seriously, and if you need help, seek help. There's suicide hotlines, there's people you can talk to, there's always a friend, there's always someone, and if you're thinking about anything, just wait until tomorrow. Have a conversation with a friend. Do something, anything. It's said that people, when they make very harsh decisions like that, are very laser focused. And even in situations where they simply just hear someone else's voice, it snaps them out of it and they come back to more reasonable thinking. So go out there, talk to someone, anyone, And I know it sounds stupid hearing it from a stranger on the internet, but like, you're doing great. Keep up the good work. Bye. I hope you had a good morning.